Okay, so this is for our buyers in the villages, and I want to just really give you three things that are going to help you to understand expenses in the villages. And this is going to be part of a two-part series that I'm doing. So this is going to be a quick video that gives you the basics, and the second one, I'm going to kind of do a deep dive. And this was inspired by a couple of my buyers who are really looking for, the nitty gritty. What is it going to cost me to live in this model home or this neighborhood specifically? Because, it's kind of a big deal. You're moving, you're picking up your life, you're selling your home in, Virginia or Montana or wherever, different part of the country. Now you're coming here and you're talking about three things that I'm going to talk about in just a second that most people have no idea what they are. So I literally met two very sweet buyers today. It was their first time in the villages. They're just getting an idea of the market, and they had no idea of what I'm talking about in it. So I'll tell you. So you have three things. You have, first of all, your bond. So your bond, and then you're going to have your bond maintenance, and then your amenity fee. So if I'm speaking Chinese, that's okay. That means you are just getting familiar with the villages, but pretty soon you're going to hear about this all the time as you're looking through homes, looking through neighborhoods. So your bond is, think of it as like financing your neighborhood. So when you buy a home in the villages, the builder, instead of putting, say, $30,000, or now some of the bonds are $50,000, they're going to, say the home was 300,000, they're going to make it, if it was a $300,000 home, they're going to make it 270 and then a $30,000 bond. So just as an example, okay? So that bond is going to pay over the course of 30 years, you'll pay off that bond. And by the way, there is interest on that bond, but that's going to take care of your roads, your infrastructure, your golf courses, your tunnels that you drive through with your golf carts, your roads, the pretty flowers, kind of all of those, just the whole infrastructure of your neighborhood. Now, by the way, there was no bond. So if you are moving to the historic section or some of the northern sections in the villages, you're not going to have a bond. So that's a fun little fact, and they're going to be paid off. So again, these bonds are 30 years. If you're looking, say, above 466, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. If you look at a map, I can share a map with you. So you have your whole villages, you're gonna have 441, Orange Blossom, which is your older section, and then cross over 441. They basically built from the top down, with the exception they put in a neighborhood in like 2013. But basically, when they started the villages, they started from the top down. In the beginning, they did not have a bond. And then as they crossed over and they started, they introduced a bond. So those older homes, so they were built in like 1990, they don't have a bond anymore. They've been paid off. But as you get a little bit further down, so past 466, you're gonna have low to no bond. I just helped a seller today. I was looking up the stats and all the data on his home. His home was built in 2003. There's still a bond. It's a $2,226 bond, and I think the payment was like $556 a year. So that $556 a year for the new buyer, that's going to roll into their taxes. So you can find out any bond balance. You can't just look it up online. You have to call the CDD yourself, because otherwise you're just going to get a guesstimate of what's left owing. So long story short, your bond pays for the infrastructure, and that's going to be over 30 years. And again, either in the older section there's no bond, or there's a low bond. And then you get into the newer sections, like down by Eastport, some of those homes have like a $50,000 bond. So you need to factor in what that expense is going to be. And that's what the whole point is. I'm trying to help my buyers really grasp what is their mortgage payments going to be, their bond balance, their bond payments, their insurance, their daily expense or monthly expenses. All of that, we're going to wrap it into one. But this is just one little piece of it, is your bond balance. And that could add anywhere from like $600 to say $1,800, $1,500 to $1,800 a year And again, that's going to go into your taxes, your non-ad valorem, your not property taxes. And then you have your CDD maintenance. Sorry, I had to look away from you for a second. I made a little note so I wouldn't forget, but you have your CDD maintenance, so your bond maintenance. That's going to be part of your ad valorem taxes. That's going to vary from your neighborhood, so your district. That's something you can look up really easily on the property appraiser website. That will vary, so it might be like $350 a year to maybe $450 a year, or $500 a year, give or take. Again, it's going to vary. So that does not go away. Even when your bond is paid off, you're still going to have that tax, that bond maintenance, and that is for maintaining the infrastructure. And then you have your amenity fee, which is going to be a blanket, amenity fee. It's going to be the same for anyone moving here in 2026 to the villages. It's $204 a month, and that's going to give you access to your rec centers, your pools, all your fun stuff. There are a couple extras if you want to do like there are a couple country clubs here, but in general, you have over 100 pools, 50 something golf courses, and that's all going to be part of your amenities here. So the $204 a month, that is what it is. And again, you could live in Orange Blossom, you could live down in Fenny. It doesn't matter what village you're in, that $204 is the same. It might be a little different. If you're currently living here in the villages, you might pay a different fee. Maybe you're at $199 or something. Sometimes people tell me they have all different rates. It's because they're going to start you at a certain rate, and they do reserve the right to up that over time. So usually it's like $1 or $2 over the course of a few years if they do change it. So I hope that helps. I know that this is very, very basic. So if you are already living in the villages, this is like kindergarten for you, but you'd be surprised. People don't know. They don't know that there's a bond. They've been house shopping. They don't even know what I'm talking about. And this should be something brought to your attention from day one. You should know that this is it's an extension of the purchase of your home. You have that tax on your home, this bond balance. And the idea, the way it's been explained to me, and I've talked to lots of different people about it, is again, what I kind of said in the beginning, is that the builder, instead of putting it on the price of the home, they're making the home less and just spreading it out over a bond. That bond doesn't stay with the person, with the individual, it just stays with the property. So what I'm going to invite you to do if you are a seller is, if you are one of my clients, you and I are working together, we have your home listed. If we haven't done this already, I'm going to encourage you to share with me the data that you have of your monthly expenses. And I know that I have probably bugged you for this, and whether or not you filled it out, did your homework, that's okay. But I like to ask my sellers for what expenses they have. So what is your internet bill? What is your electric bill? I have some, estimates, some averages I can share with some of my buyers, but I want to give them a detailed. So if you have, say, a 1,500 square foot home, what does that look like for your monthly bills? And, is it do you live there part of the year? Is it a rental? That kind of thing we can factor in too. But let's just see if we can help some of our buyers to really, really understand, from the bond to insurance. And I'm working with a couple of fantastic insurance guys right now who are helping me with specific quotes for one of my buyers. So again, I encourage you, if you want to do this with me, this will actually highlight your home, and I'll be sharing this with our buyers, and they'll get to see exactly what the expenses are to run and operate a home here in the Villages, Florida. So I hope that helps. Please feel free to like or share if you know someone who's thinking of moving to the Villages or selling their home. You have, any questions regarding the bond or insurance or any of that. I'm not an insurance expert, but I know some people. But if you are trying to especially wrap your head around, or help someone else wrap their head around what the costs are, please feel free to connect with me. I'll put my contact info in the description here. So thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. God bless.